It's Top 5 Dead or Alive, Sammy Diaz, and you are listening to the We Are Wrestling podcast.
A abrupt emergency. We are wrestling.
Been a fan of AEW since day one.
Wrestling Extra.
What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, Mr. We Are Wrestling himself, the best one, Donnie, here with a special We Are Wrestling Extra, because today I am going to be having a one-on-one interview with the Ace, Top 5 Dead or Alive, Sammy Diaz. Such an incredible, underrated, independent wrestler. We're going to be doing a one-on-one interview for this extra. But if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're listening to this interview, give us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download the episode. But if you haven't subscribed over to the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel, where we have lots of awesome content over there, and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, we recommend you to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications. Videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO. And of course, you already know, the grind is real. And I hope you guys enjoy this one-on-one interview with Sammy Diaz. So with that being said, let's get it. What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs. We're here with the Ace, Top 5 Dead or Alive, Sammy Diaz. What is going on, brother?
What's going on, my man? Finally was able to make it to the We Are Wrestling podcast. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Excited to finally have an episode with you, my brother.
Absolutely, man. And I feel like it's long overdue because I have been following your career for the last couple of years. Obviously,
Absolutely.
You work a lot in the Northeast area. That's where I'm from as well. And we've been trying to get this to happen, and we're finally getting it to happen. And I'm very excited.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me again. Sorry, I got the little
It's
one
all
interrupted,
good,
but
man.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I appreciate you for following me since day one. Again, I've been following your podcast for a little while now, so I'm happy to be here and appreciate you again since day one, especially all over New England. You guys have been holding it down. I've been trying to do the same on my end, so
Absolutely. And I
man.
feel like a lot of people, man, and this is why, like, with the We Are Wrestling podcast, the one thing I always try to let the fans know is support indie wrestling, because there's so many talented, underrated guys like you who are out there busting your asses consistently, going to towns and putting on these banger matches. And I feel like a lot of people, because right now in wrestling, man, like, we're in a boom period, and I feel like the indies right now is doing really good.
Absolutely. I feel like the indies at any moment can have that next star breakout, and you got so many great wrestlers, especially just in New England, like, and not even including the West Coast, down south. You got so many great wrestlers that's just ready to break out, or just one match away from being exposed to the world, or just even one clip. Nowadays, it could just be one clip. It could be one 30-second clip on IG or TikTok, whatever, that can expose that one person to the world. And I think that independent wrestling is in a great place right now, especially with multiple options on TV where you want to watch, where guys want to work, obviously. So wrestling is doing great right now. I'm happy to be a part of it, and it feels like the early 90s, late 2000s with the whole attitude era. It feels fun, and I grew up in that. So to experience this again, it's like, and to be in it on the other end, it feels wrestling's exciting right now. So I'm real happy to be a part of it.
I totally agree. And I got to ask you, who are some of these top, like, Northeast wrestlers that, right now do stand out, that you feel like is, a clip away or a good match away from being on TV besides yourself?
I, I don't want to just say these names because they're my friends or I'm putting them over, but it's just the truth that obviously I'll put myself in there. I'm just trying to just work hard, but you got so many guys from Alec Price, Ichiban, Miracle Generation. You got other guys that's out there like Ricky Smokes. You got young guys like Brad Baylor. You got Lucas Chase. You got so many guys just in New England. Mortar, Tyree. So many guys I don't want to leave off, but it's just like so many guys are just one match or two matches away. Like we got Ichiban, he signed to MLW, and like so many guys are getting that recognition. A lot of people are paying attention, but there's so many other guys too that are still grinding and are ready for that next step. It's just all about timing. I feel like timing is a lot in professional wrestling, obviously.
Oh, timing is everything, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so those to name a few, it's hard because you got so many other guys.
And that's
like
the thing I was going to say. Some of the people that you are forgetting to mention, I highly recommend
Crawford.
anybody
I'll put TJ Crawford. I'm wrestling TJ Crawford on Friday. I got as much as we knock heads and stuff, but I got respect for TJ. I've been in the ring with him. He's also making waves. Yeah, we got so many.
And that's the thing I was going to say. The people that you're forgetting to mention. I want to let the listeners know, I highly encourage you guys to subscribe to IWTV because a lot of these really good independent wrestling shows, they're streaming on there live, which Blitzkrieg, We Are Wrestling, we're a proud sponsor of them. We sponsor matches. We're always on there on IWTV. They're live streaming the shows. Highly recommend because there's a lot of talent in this area that's being showcased on there. But I do want to talk about the early days because obviously everybody starts off with a dream, and my dream, I always wanted to be a pro wrestler, but later on wanted to become a content creator. But with you, seems like you want to be a professional wrestler, and I want to know, like, how did you become a fan of this sport?
I became a fan like most of us, our parents. My dad was a big professional wrestling fan. He turned my mom into a professional wrestling fan, and like we just used to watch it as from as early as I can remember. The first memory I have of professional wrestling is Sean and Brett. I was maybe 3-4 years old when those guys were the guys. So it's like that's what I remember, the Iron Man match, and that was my first memory. That just was the beginning of how I fell in love with wrestling. We just always recorded Monday Night Raw on VHS tapes, and I would always watch it back all week until the next week. We'll do the same thing all over, just record over the previous week. But it was just that's my earliest memory of professional wrestling. That would Sean and Brett are the guys that made me want to become a professional wrestler.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. Like, for me, I have a very, similar way how I got into professional wrestling, because for me, I got into it, towards, the late Attitude Era, going into Ruthless Aggression, and when I was younger, my mom and I,
that was a fun time.
We would always go to Blockbuster, Hollywood Home Videos, and that's kind of how I got into, the 90s and, the late 80s, so I really, got into it as a maniac when I was very young. I was probably maybe 4 or 5 years old when this was happening.
See, I was doing the same thing. We have Blockbuster by our house too, but my mom and dad used to record a lot of this stuff. So they had stuff recorded from the 80s, the late 80s and early 90s too. So I would just go back and watch that stuff, like WrestleMania 3s and all the old WrestleManias and stuff. Cause they used to be, my dad was he was a big fan. So he was a big fan, so he was the one that was the one making us watch as I was younger, and then it just carried on as I got older.
Yeah, for me it was my dad, but also my cousin as well. But
yeah, same here. Family members growing up, we all was wrestling in the living room and stuff so.
Backyard wrestling. I did that on my trampoline.
Yeah.
So, Sammy, I also do want to know, what made you decide to become a professional wrestler? When did you decide, this is what you want to do with your life?
See, I always wanted to become a professional wrestler, but as I got in high school, things got sidetracked. things got sidetracked and just I never felt out of love with wrestling. It just like I stopped watching wrestling for a little while just because it's just I don't know. It wasn't from 2000. I want to say 2010 to 2013 is when I like stopped for a little while and then picked back up after like when Brian was going into WrestleMania 30. So, but yeah, I was just around that time. I had no vision of what I wanted to do. I was just graduated high school, got into some knucklehead stuff like early 20s until I was like 21, and it was just like I always had that light at the end of the tunnel. Like I wanted to become a professional wrestler. I just didn't know how. And I just remember just like one summer, I was just like, man, I figured something out. I gotta do something with my life. I'm about to be 23. I'm not doing nothing. I gotta figure something out. It's like I thought it was a little. I just didn't think there was no wrestling schools around here. So I was like, I googled professional wrestling schools in Connecticut, and PWA popped up, and I went there January 2017. And the rest is history. But as far as like becoming, I always had that light at the end of the tunnel from like when I was 18, when I graduated high school to the age 21. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. It just like I always knew it was going to be wrestling. I just didn't know how I was going to get there, if that makes sense, because I was just so involved with other stuff that I was doing, like a shoot job and all this other BS as a teenager would be into, you know what I mean, girls and all this other stuff. So that was pretty much it, man.
Totally, man. I totally understand that because everybody like has a dream, and I always feel like everything in life happens for a reason. And
Absolutely.
before We Are Wrestling, I was doing content with my cousins, my friends, just doing like short skits and like creating original series and stuff. And it never really went off. But then like all of a sudden, my two loves, content creating and professional wrestling, just worked out for me. And I feel like everything in life just happens for a reason.
Hell yeah, man. That's what's up. It's same with me. Like I just didn't know again. Like I didn't know how. I mean, I didn't know how. I just knew. I knew I was gonna be. I wanted to become a professional wrestler. I just didn't know how. And once I found school, I went there for 6 months before the doors closed, and I had my first match with them. And then I went to Texas Strength Wrestling in East Hartford, Connecticut, and I've been there ever since. That was pretty much how my start in professional wrestling happened.
Man, that's pretty cool. So you trained with PWA?
Yes, for 6 months before the doors closed. The owner moved down south to Atlanta. He started a family and stuff. You can't blame him. So I just knew once the door closed, I didn't want to stop. As a lot of people that I went to school with early in those first 6 months, they completely stopped. And I've seen guys since then. It's like, you just can't stop, you know, especially in this game. It's like, this goes so fast. And the first 6 months, I've seen people, and then like I went to Texas Strength. Some guys still went with me, like Elijah Six. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it. And
I am.
A lot of other guys like the Dickie Moons and other guys, so many other guys, and we just all became a family at Texas Strength, and I've been there ever since.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask you was about your training, because a lot of wrestlers, when I listen to a lot of these interviews and stuff, they all have different experiences when they first start off training. Some, they get it right away. Others, it takes a little bit of time. How difficult was it for you to adjust into professional wrestling?
I don't want to gas or toot my own horn, but I used to do backyard wrestling, so the moves and stuff weren't too hard. So like I spent a lot of my time early in my career trying to get the fundamentals down, like the rolls, the 3/4 rolls, hitting the ropes, the bumps, just landing properly so don't get hurt often. And so I try to master those when I first started, because I knew all the other stuff would be somewhat easy because I had a little bit of experience from the the backyard wrestling. And I say backyard wrestling, but it was more a little backyard fed. We had a little organization, like it was kind of organized. It was organized. It was organized somewhat, but it was still like a backyard stuff. But I had the moves down and stuff since I was a kid. I've been freaking wrestling since I was 12 years old, just with my cousins and stuff. But as far as professionally wrestling, I knew the moves would kind of be easy because it's something I always do playing around, and like we're practiced since I was a kid. So it was not hard. It was just the conditioning because I was coming off of being 18 and into 21, and I started training at 22. So I was drinking, smoking, partying, and stuff. So it was like my cardio. I had to get my cardio back in line, so become an athlete again. Because from 18 years old, I haven't probably ran in like 3 years. So,
And those
but yeah,
ropes,
it was just
man, they're no joke.
yeah, they're no jokes, man. So it's definitely cardio and ring cardio is two different things, and I had to get that thing down packed first before I do anything else. But yeah, it was rough. That was the only thing that was rough about the training.
And that's the thing, like, as a fan, from like a fan's perspective, because I have watched probably more matches than the fingers on my hands of you.
Yeah,
And one thing that I notice about your wrestling style, it's all around. And I love how like you're controlling like the pace of like your matches. And I feel like a lot of people in the independent circuit, that's something they struggle with. A lot of people in today's wrestling struggle with a little bit is controlling the pace and like knowing when to slow it down, when to hit the big moves. And I feel like that's what makes you a top 5, man, underrated.
I appreciate it, man. That's another thing. Guys that I looked up to too. I watched a lot of guys like Eddie Guerrero's and AJ Styles and just and Shawn Michaels and Brett. I'd like to watch the technician guys just to see the pacing and like. I also watch a lot of Japan stuff to make it to kind of have an understanding like where to put the high explosive moves, and it's all about just also who's your dance partner and
Hey, it takes 2 to tangle.
exactly. But yeah, bro, I appreciate that because a lot of people don't really like understand. That's a good question. That was a good way you put it. I appreciate that. But yeah, a lot of people that I looked up to, I try to maybe like take stuff from them and just add it to who I am, and that was pretty much how I try to do my style because I just try to be different from everyone else. Everybody's trying to go 100 miles per hour, or some people might just go 50, and that might be the whole way, you know. So it's just trying to be different, also.
And that's the thing, man, that I do love about your wrestling style is it's definitely different and you make it work. Like you do the
I,
technician stuff, you do the high flying when it matters, and man, just overall like I think as well with what I'm learning here with this one-on-one interview is how much research you've done and how passionate you are about the sport because I feel like one mistake probably a lot of wrestlers make is that they don't go back and watch like some old tapes from like New Japan and Ring of
yeah,
Honor and WWE and all of those promotions and then finding like the way to make it your own.
yeah, absolutely. And I watch a lot of old tape. I also watch a lot of tape of myself because I'm my worst critic. So if I see something I do wrong or something I might not like what I do, I'll try to change it in the next match or try to fix it in the next match because I'm my own worst critic. And if I see something that I felt like was, I don't know, ugly or just like, oh, I should have sped this up right here, or I should have felt like this, or I should just something. I always point out something in my own matches. So that's like, if wrestlers aren't watching their own matches and fixing the things that they're doing wrong, they gotta fix that also because you could also watch tape from guys that come from before us, but also watch their own tape because you gotta make sure we are all our worst critics. So
Oh, definitely.
just absolutely. So I'm pretty sure you already know. So it's like you might
Oh,
get an
yeah.
interview with somebody where you like, oh, I didn't ask him this, or you know. So it's just something. Just yeah, you gotta. We are all our worst critics, though.
And that's the thing, like, I do want the We Are Wrestling Maniacs to know as well. You're top 5, I'm the best one, and there's
Let's
always
go.
room to
Let's
improve.
go.
And I feel like
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
like the best thing you can do is learn and grow. And that's something that, in your profession and my profession, we're doing every single day is continuing to grow and grind. Are you looking for wrestling content? Well, we are. Wrestling provides everything pro wrestling. The best one, Donnie, Gins, and the Load Rager Ben, are wrestling marks like you who love this sport. We Are Wrestling has it all when it comes to wrestling content. We have different podcasts, vlogs, reactions, full wrestling matches, live pay-per-view watch-alongs, interviews, predictions, and so much more. Only on We Are Wrestling. What are you waiting for? Subscribe and become a We Are Wrestling Maniac now. One thing I definitely do want to ask you as well, because one thing that I notice as a fan, as a maniac, is the entrance. And one song, man, that you got stuck in my head is Plain
Let's
Jane,
go.
man. I need to know, what was the idea behind, choosing that song out of, any other song that you could have picked from?
It's crazy that you say that because I get that all the time now. Everybody always say, "Oh, your entrance music is this." Like, yo, your entrance music is lit, bro. Like, but to be real, I was driving one day and my Pandora was on shuffle, and that song played, and the way it sounded with the bass and stuff in the car, because like when you listen to a song in the car, it sounds so much different than
Yes,
headphones
it
or on the phone.
motivates you, man. There's times
Yeah,
where
I was
I'll play a song and I'll picture myself coming out. I'll fantasize
absolutely,
that
yeah, exactly,
I'm
exactly.
the
So
world champion main event in WrestleMania, and then I'm just playing the
exactly.
song.
Exactly, bro. So it's like once the beginning starts, I'm like, I heard it, I was like, man, that, and then the beat dropped, and I'm like, oh, this would be a dope entrance music. I'm like, oh yeah, this is about to be my entrance music. So it's like when I heard it in the car, I was like, man, I might have just see if I could switch my song. But me being like early in my career, I was like, I don't know, like who do I ask to change my music? So it's like where I was so like I didn't know so much about independent wrestling, so it's like I'm just gonna come out to this song. But it's like now, like once I chose that song, like everybody comes up to me like, "Y'all heard this song on the radio, and I thought about you." So I was like, "Oh, that's what's up." That's
Dude, you got the whole We Are Wrestling
yeah.
team
When everybody
playing
sing,
it on
when I come
repeat
out and
every
everybody's
day.
yeah, when I come out and people are singing it, it just gets me hyped up for the match. So like when everybody's singing it and bringing that energy, it definitely brings the best out of me when I'm in the ring. So definitely appreciate you guys, man.
I don't know, man. I think on Friday, which by the time this comes out, your match will have already happened. I might have to pull a Pat
Hopefully,
McAfee. I might have to get on top of the chair and friggin' just start going off on
let's
you,
go.
friggin' Plain Jane.
Let's go. Let's go.
So I do gotta ask, because every professional wrestler has that dream opponent. And I want to know, who is that dream opponent that you want to face sometime?
It's hard. Like I got so many, but like my number one, I will always say
Hey, how
AJ
about this,
Styles.
man? You call yourself top five? Give us five.
I get, I'll give you five. First I'll say AJ Styles because early 2005 through 2009, AJ Styles, he was my favorite wrestler, hands down. Nobody could tell me nothing wrong about AJ Styles. He was like my guy. So like he definitely was a big inspiration like during my early teens, like 14, 15, and 16, when I was doing the backyard wrestling stuff. He was someone I took a lot of his moveset and still kind of applied to my moveset to today. So I definitely say AJ Styles as my number one. I'll just say active wrestlers all time. We'll do that. We'll save that question. But active wrestlers right now, I'll do AJ. Uh, Omega. I'm a big Omega guy. I like Kenny
Oh,
Omega.
Kenny Omega, man, so good.
He's the man. So Omega, Osprey, definitely Will Osprey. I think he's in that top five best in the world right now. He's like top three right now. So
Oh, 100%.
for sure, for sure. Uh, two more. I'll give you. I'll say Seth. I'll put Seth Rollins in there. I like Seth. He gets a lot of hate on the socials, but I like Seth. He's good in the ring.
Oh, definitely, especially when you have like a whole friggin' arena chant, like singing your song. Like you're
Exactly.
over.
Yeah. For sure, for sure. I'll throw Cody in there. I'll probably throw Cody in there just to be safe. You know what I mean?
Hell
I
yeah,
don't want to
man.
forget somebody that I mean would choose, but I'll definitely put Cody.
Well, that's the thing, man. Cody's one of the top baby faces too. So obviously,
Absolutely,
if I'm a professional
absolutely,
wrestler, Cody's got to be in there right now.
absolutely. Yeah. I like Cody right now. Absolutely, he's definitely busted his ass. Definitely became a bigger fan of his when he left and did the Bullet Club deal. Definitely became a bigger fan of him then in ROH. So I'm happy to see him go back and hopefully he finishes his story. Let's see.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Hopefully.
ask you about that, man. You think he's finishing the story?
I hope so. I was going for him last year, so when he lost it, I was surprised as everybody else, but I was going for him last year, so hopefully I think he does it this year. I think maybe Mr. Dwayne might help him.
I think so as well, man. I'm hoping Cody finishes the story as well. Which to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs, WrestleMania, night 1, night 2, we will be live over on the YouTube channel. So if you guys want to come watch the show with us, we will be doing a live stream. Had to throw
Hey,
that
you guys
quick
do
little
watch parties
plug
and
in
stuff?
there. Yes, we do, man.
Hell yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's
Podcasting,
up.
vlogs,
Hell yeah.
reactions, watch
Hell yeah,
alongs,
that's what's up. Hey, that's what's up.
pay-per-view
Hell yeah.
predictions, all the good stuff.
Hey, yeah,
But now,
I gotta
man, there's
tap in.
and now, like, I've been scrolling through your YouTube channel because I see you've been starting to post a lot of your matches and your top 5 vlogs, which I do got to say, that last Blitzkrieg show, man, that one fan that put you over.
Oh, he's the
What a
man. Let's go.
plug.
Yeah, hell yeah. He's the man. Alan's the man. I definitely appreciate him. He's one that brings energy to inside the room. So
Oh, definitely.
again,
Alan's great.
exactly.
Got to
If
give him a shout
everybody's
out.
quiet, he's gonna be there screaming from the top of his lungs. So I appreciate him. He always puts me over on the social. That's my guy. So I definitely put him over here in the interview. So
Hell
appreciate you,
yeah.
Alan.
So I also noticed you have a lot of matches on your YouTube channel, and I got to ask you, for somebody that hasn't watched you wrestle, what's got to be your favorite match that you've had so far in your career?
In my career, I don't know. I have one that's like a sentimental one. It was kind of like I don't want to say early in my career. I was maybe 4 years in, maybe 2019, 20. I want to say maybe 1920. I wrestled Dickie Moon in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Yeah, it was about 25 minutes, and it was sentimental to me because at the time he was one of my first people. He was my first match. He was my first singles match, and I felt like it was kind of a switching of the guard, like
Passing the
passing the
torch?
torch, but kind of it was like it felt like that in the ring. It felt like that in the ring. Maybe not everybody else could pick that up, but it was like I understood what happened in that ring, and like we both did. So that was one that stood out. I enjoy anytime I get in the ring with Ichiban or Flash. We just had a fun 3-way a couple weeks ago at BST, and it was kind of crazy, but I have fun with those guys. One I had fun with last year. I would probably recommend people watch if they haven't. Was against Desmond Cole at Fight Life. I had fun with Desmond. He's another one from the Northeast, tri-state area. I know he's from Long Island, but he's also one that's grinding and busting his ass, and I'm happy to see making some waves. So that's a match I would definitely have people watch if it was their first time watching the Sammy Diaz match.
Hell yeah, man. And speaking of all of these different independent wrestlers that we're mentioning throughout these, one thing that I love that we've done here in the Northeast area is what Beyond Wrestling has done with
Oh,
Wrestle
absolutely.
Open. I feel
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Wrestle Open has been giving you guys an opportunity every Thursday at the White Eagle to
Absolutely.
really improve and to, even do promos and do matches. So I got to ask you, like, what's your thoughts on Beyond Wrestling doing Wrestle Open every Thursday at the White Eagle?
Bro, to be real, when I first started wrestling, I always wanted to be part of Beyond Wrestling because I always knew like people that were on Beyond Wrestling were on the next step to maybe get on TV because that's where you make a name for yourself. It was considered the PWG of New England. So like if you were working those shows, you were doing good. So it's like when I first started wrestling, I always wanted to be a part of them. But like they had their core roster of like their guys. It wasn't like Wrestling Open how it is now, where Wrestling Open is supposed to be like a open mic night for wrestlers to come in from all over the territory or wherever they're coming from. So to be a part of it now is just like I understand the opportunity I have in front of me. I understand the platform I have with Wrestling Open and beyond, and I just want to make the most of it. I love everything they do. We have a great roster from top to bottom. It's like week after week, you go in there. Something like I'm not saying open, but there's been times with like other promotions or I go other places and then I'll look at the card and see who I'm working and be like, all right, I know what I'm gonna get tonight. At Wrestling Open, week after week, you see another opponent. It's like, oh, we can have a banger this week. We can have another banger this week because it's just so many good guys that you can match up with, and everybody's there to push each other. Everybody wants to be the best. Everybody wants to better themselves, and we just all push each other. And the platform that they have and allowing wrestlers to come there and try to get better, it don't get no better than that. You got guys like Gabe Sapolsky coming by and helping out wrestlers, give critiques, like checking out people matches and telling them what they could do better and where to improve on and stuff like that. So that's always awesome to see guys from higher up come down and take their time out their day and watch us. And again, like I absolutely love everything that they're doing because not only am I there and I feel like I'm a part of their roster, like I am, but so many other my friends that I call my friends, like my brothers, are right there next to me in the locker room or tagging right there with me, you know? So it's like to have those guys around you and to have a great roster that's just pushing each other. I think the sky's the limit for us on Open. It could be the next, I mean, I won't say evolve, but you know, it could be something familiar, like something like that to that level.
Yeah, man, that's the thing about Wrestle Open that I really do like is that it feels like you all have like an edge and you guys are all trying to prove something. And sometimes that's like
It's
where you
competitive, bro.
get
It's competitive. It's competitive,
and
bro.
that's
It's
where you
very
do the
competitive.
best work and that's where you learn the most from. And I
It's
love what you're
competitive.
doing.
You watch like I'll be in the locker room watching matches, and I'll be like, "Oh, this is good. They're going crazy. I gotta go out there and do my. I gotta do my shit now. I gotta do my thing now because I want them to remember me at the end of the night." And the same person after me is thinking the same thing. So it's like everybody's there pushing each other. Everybody's wants to be the best. It's a real competition when you in a setting like that. When it's weekly wrestling, everybody's real
Exactly.
competitive to try to get those spots. You know what I mean?
Because that's the thing, man. Like, a lot of independent wrestlers, like, sometimes you go like weekends where you're not working a wrestling show. But with
Exactly.
Wrestle Open, at least it's giving you and all of these other talented professional wrestlers an opportunity. And I think beyond doing that is just incredible for, all you guys. And this, also is good because it's going to be helping out the future of, professional wrestling because you guys are the
Absolutely.
future.
Absolutely. And they're helping us with the TV structure of how to run a somewhat show. You know what I mean? Because when you're there, it's different. Like it's just like the stuff on TV. Like it'll go from a match and they'll go to a promo package. But now the live fans there have a monitor where they can see that.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
so they could see the story build up from the previous week if they wasn't there. So it's also cool to see that because it's trying to prepare us for if we get to that next level or when we get to that next level of TV. So it's ultimately preparing us for success. And they're doing a great job with everybody there. Everybody's killing it. So
Love
phenomenal
it,
job for
man.
everybody. Absolutely.
And that's the thing too. Like, unfortunately, I couldn't go to Boston for Beyond, but I saw that
Yeah.
you were in a battle royal, man. Like, what was your
Yeah.
thoughts on like
Bro,
you competed in front of 2,000 people?
yeah, bro, it was crazy. Like for the most part, like most of the people, like, oh, it's a battle royale. Obviously, you want a one-on-one match, but I'm just happy to have the opportunity to be in front of all these people and showcase whatever I can in this battle royal. But it was awesome, bro. It was dope. I ain't never wrestled in front of that much people, so to experience that, to hear everybody, like to be in the ring and just to see a sea of people, like look to the left, look to the right, and look back is just like, oh man, this is crazy, bro. You stand on the buckle and just like look out, and just like you can only imagine like what 40,000 or 50,000 exactly. You know what I mean? So it was
Oh
like,
my goodness, man. But like when I like
but
saw
that,
I think it was I saw your video. I think it was the vlog, one of your top
oh
5
yeah,
vlogs.
this is a
And
top
you had a
five
clip.
vlog. Yes,
You had a clip of you and like all the other wrestlers that were entering this
yep,
battle royal. So many
yep,
people I noticed, and
yep.
man, I was so happy for all you guys because
Yeah,
you're
man,
all busting your asses in the indies, whether there's like 10 people sitting in there or now, 2,000 people. So I love
absolutely,
that you guys
absolutely.
were able to get that opportunity.
Hell yeah, man. And again, thank you to Drew. He's seen so many guys come up throughout the years. He's had everybody on his roster. I mean, from Kevin Owens to LAX to so many guys that come from that are on TV right now. So he's seen the best of the best. He's seen everybody that was a name in independent wrestling, and for us to be a part of that family now, it feels so rewarding. And I want to say like a justification, but like yeah, I'm here because I bust my ass. I worked hard for this opportunity to be a part of this roster, and to know that your hard work is paying off, it sometimes does feel good.
Hell yeah, man. And obviously, we got to talk about Blitzkrieg Pro because we are wrestling. We're a proud sponsor of them. I've been going to Blitzkrieg shows since the very first one out on
Yeah,
that baseball
uh,
field all the way back in 2015. So,
that's what's
Blitzkrieg,
up, man.
man, has a really special place in my heart.
That's what's up.
And I've
That's what's up.
noticed you've been a part of the Blitzkrieg Faithful for about 3 years consistently. And
Yes,
one
yes.
thing that I love about Blitzkrieg so much is the energy at every show. There's just something different about it. What do you think makes Blitzkrieg Pro stand out?
The fans for sure, bro. It's the fans, and obviously the wrestling is always different. The roster, because when I first wanted to be a part of Blitzkrieg, it was again timing is everything. Opportunity presented itself, and I was there. And like, hey, would you like to work Scotty? And I'm like, I love Scotty, absolutely. So it was like from that first opportunity, and to see where Blitzkrieg is now, and to to have my experience from the beginning to see how it's grown is definitely the fans. The fans bring that energy each and every time. You guys are fucking insane. I love it because when you guys are energized like that, it only brings the best out of performers. Because sometimes we are tired, sometimes we have long weekends from wrestling, and it depends where the show ends on the week. So it's like it'll be on a Sunday or something. We're dead from Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But if that energy is there from the fans, we don't feel nothing. And I'm somebody that tries to give it 110% each and every time I'm in the ring, because I don't care if it's 10, 15, 20, 200, 300 people. People pay their money to see good wrestling, and I just want to be someone to give good wrestling. You know what I mean? I love wrestling. I never try to disrespect it. And if you paid money to watch wrestling, I always try to give my all, because that's what we seen growing up from our guys. And I mean, everybody
Exactly,
says,
man. And
"Nah,
I
go ahead,
feel
go ahead."
like when you go to like a show, I feel like if you're really paying attention, you could tell who like really has that passion, who doesn't. And every time, man, I've seen you wrestle, I always see that passion. Always
I
see that
appreciate it,
fire.
man. Appreciate it, brother.
So you
I
said
just
your first opportunity you said with Blitzkrieg was it against Scotty Wild at
yes,
the
it
Luau?
was it was at the brewery show. It was a brewery show. It was I don't even think it was IWTV. It was just I don't want to say a house show, but it was like at the brewery show. It was maybe 2019, late 2019 was the match I had with Scotty. I want to say it was a travel match, but it was like my first time there, so I guess he wanted to see what I could do. But my first official match was with Aaron Rourke at
Oh, Aaron Rourke. Yep.
yes. I don't
I
know
do
what
remember
show it
that.
was again, but it was against Aaron Rourke. I believe he was first or second on the show, and that was my first time. And then he couldn't get rid of me since. So
Yeah, because like when you mentioned
you guys,
Scotty Wild,
you
I do
guys,
remember
yeah,
because I
yeah.
remember one match that you had. I think it was the Luau against him.
Yep.
And Scotty Wild, he wasn't happy with me because there's like this, you were doing like a sharpshooter on him, and I
Yeah.
think Matthew James had like a coconut. And I yelled, I was like, get to the coconut, get to the coconut.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably I had a couple matches I believe since, but yes, that was one I do remember. Yeah,
Yeah,
Scotty.
and now, man, it's absolutely crazy because as we're recording this in a couple days, you're competing for the Blitzkrieg Bedlam Championship.
Yes. It's long time coming. I definitely had that Blitzkrieg Championship on my bucket list. I made a short list this January when the new year. I made a list of places I wanted to work, people I wanted to work, and championships I want to give a shot. Like see if I have an opportunity to win. And obviously, Blitzkrieg being one of my homes that I wrestle at, I want to be champion. I want to be the one to carry that flag for Blitzkrieg, and I feel like I've been busting my ass, and I ain't gonna stop until I do accomplish that. So even I'm gonna say it's Friday. We're gonna make it happen Friday. But even if it's
Yes,
not
sir.
Friday, we're still coming. We got a lot of time to come. We got a lot of time to go. So we're gonna make it happen.
Absolutely, man. And I can't wait to see you perform Friday for that championship because I usually go to most of the Blitzkrieg shows and I've watched you grow. And especially now, it seems like you really just have this momentum going on where just everybody, man, is behind you doing the whole top 5 thing. And I feel like
Yeah.
it's your time.
And that's all thanks to you guys, man. I've been busting my ass for a long time, and I always felt like one day it'll pay off. I just always felt like I don't know. I felt it. I just didn't know how I was gonna get there, but you guys stuck with me. You guys stuck with me through the ugly, the hard times, the bad times, and now we're gonna celebrate all the good times together. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys that supported me since day one because I heard this in an interview with Cody. He said it hasn't always been easy to be a Cody fan, and I can say the same. It hasn't always been easy to be a Sammy fan because for a long time I felt like the fans were always behind me, and just something will happen. I'm like, all right, it'll be flat dead for a little while, and then we pick up some momentum. But now I feel like everybody is on the top 5 ship, and we're setting sail, baby. We're taking off.
Yes, sir. And you talk about the past, and my last thing I do want to ask you here before we close off this interview, what do you do now that you could go back and tell Sammy Diaz? What would you tell him? So like what I'm trying to say is, like, let's say like you go back into time, like right now, what would you tell old Sammy Diaz getting into the business?
Just stay down, man. Stay down, stay hungry, stay humble, and don't quit. Never quit. Just stay down, keep going. But most importantly, don't quit. Because when you quit, you ain't gonna go nowhere. So if you just keep pushing, keep going. I always say good things happen to good people. And I feel like hard work does pay off sometimes. So never quit, bro. That's my main thing. Like I know it's the John Cena
I was just gonna say, man, my
cliche,
childhood
never
hero,
give
he
up.
taught me that. That's why we're going
Seen it-
15
seen
years
it-
on this.
Seen as the man. So it's like, for real, just never give up, because once you give up, you never have a chance. So you're not gonna accomplish your dreams on just sitting on the couch or just doing nothing. So yeah, that's what I would tell
Absolutely, man.
my old self when I first got into this business, or early. Just don't quit.
Absolutely,
There's
man.
been plenty times where I was like, God giving me these signs to quit or to keep pushing. So it's like, just don't quit.
And I think that's the best advice anybody can take is just never give up. If you're really passionate about something, go out there and do it. And
Absolutely.
that's what you're doing right now.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, man.
So I do want you to let the We Are Wrestling Maniacs know, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Sammy Diaz Wrestling. You can find me on X at Sammy Diaz Jr. I know I should have all the same tags, but it's been hard because X has so many people that already have the same name, so I had to just
Burner
adjust.
accounts.
But yeah, exactly. So, and Pro Wrestling Tees / Sammy Diaz. If you want to follow me on YouTube / Top 5 Sammy Diaz, and go watch the vlog. This is the Top 5 vlog. Some fun stuff, and watch my matches. Subscribe.
And man, I appreciate having you here for this one-on-one interview. And good luck with your Bedlam Championship match on Friday.
Thank you for having me, bro. I appreciate it. Again, phenomenal job all year end. You're doing great. I watch, so appreciate having me. And when I win the Blitzkrieg Championship, we'll do another one. So
Yes,
run it
sir.
back.
We have to, man.
Absolutely.
And I got to and also on Friday too, I got to give you a Blitzkrieg shirt, man. What's your size?
A medium. I'll take a medium so it can fit good. It fit good.
All righty, man. I'm definitely going to bring one to you on Friday.
I appreciate it, brother.
Thank you for being part of the We Are Wrestling Podcast Extra. And, man, good luck on Friday.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. See you Friday.